Timcast IRL will be live in Miami with Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Join us there. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the description below or by going to timcast.com. Cernovich has a series of tweets that are similar in essence to what Scott Adams had said in the last election, that he believes, Cernovich believes he'll be hunted down and killed in 2020 after 2024 if we lose. He says, if you're conservative with a large platform, have you talked to your family about how you're going to be framed for a crime? He quote tweeted this. He says 2024 is life or death. And he quote tweeted saying, John Eastman facing disbarment for a legal memo on an open constitutional law issue. Trump, judge said Mar-a-Lago only worth $18 million. Michigan, elderly Republicans indicted. Georgia, fake RICO case. SCOTUS is the only stopgap. Once that's gone, there's no law. I'm not even convinced SCOTUS is, because when it came to Texas v. Pennsylvania in 2020, SCOTUS said we are too cowardly to answer a question of original jurisdiction, which is insane. They have to, and they didn't. I believe Thomas and Alito are correct. I highlight this to make the point. While Cernovich and Scott Adams saying it's life or death may have been hyperbolic then, maybe now. Cernovich says it's not hyperbolic, and these are all goober conservatives who don't think so. He does point out something very important in this tweet. Michigan, elderly Republicans were indicted. It is not going to be execute Order 66, as I stated in the previous segment. It is going to be you committed fraud. That's right. We think you committed fraud. So you're under arrest. Elderly Republicans were electors, were asked to sign documents in the event lawsuits were won. They would require these documents. It is a normal constitutional procedure. Michigan indicted them, and they are facing the rest of their lives in prison over doing what they are constitutionally requested to do.
They'll use the IRS.
Oh, hands down. Obama already did it.
Yeah.
Obama went after what Tea Party groups?
Tea Party groups.
That's right.
Yep.
So it's crazy to me that people are like, Cernovich is out of his mind. Okay, again, like, I don't know about you just being dead right away, but 10 years ago, Obama used the IRS to target his political opponents.
Now look where we are.
Now look where we are. They're arresting lawyers. They're arresting lawyers. A judge in New York on summary judgment banged a gavel and said the Trump organization is to be dissolved, and then sanctioned the lawyers for arguing. The system already is fractured and busted up.
Yeah, we see it. Like we were talking earlier about in 1992 with we talked about Rodney King earlier in the week, but like just the chaos and the things that have happened that didn't get televised. But now like any guy can tweet out 8 things that have happened. Aaron Danielson, we talked about a million times, like that probably wouldn't even have got national media attention, or maybe it would have, but likely may not have gotten national media attention. So
I agree, yeah.
This could be an example of just taking these things and blowing them out of proportion. But I think the Trump indictments are just beyond the pale. Like that is...
It's history.
Yeah.
It is one of the most egregious violations of this country's values, laws, norms, rules, the Constitution. And it is one of the most, if not the most significant thing that has happened to this country since its founding, right? You can talk about the Civil War, and then I would say, okay, perhaps we can have a conversation about the Civil War, that when Abraham Lincoln was trying to, he tried to, I don't think he did actually indict a sitting Supreme Court justice, but this was secession and then conflict. So right now, this could be on par with these moves that led to 1865.
It's like we're in a different country, and literally like same name, but because like someone in Tacoma, Washington will be online talking to their best friend in England, and they don't have any friends in Tacoma because they're online. So it's like a different world, a different reality, this country now.
1861, I should have said.
You know, it's like we're a different country. That's the difference between this country and other countries, or has been, that we don't beat each other, political opposition, in the juror box. We beat them in the ballot box. That's really, something that one of the only things that really does or did separate us. That's not happening now. That's the real difference and the major shift. And people ask me how is this going to impact the election? I think it's just a matter of it's a fight between wills. It's a matter of resolve, and you're going to get hit with something new every day. They want to remove them from the ballot here, and you just brought up the Civil War. The last time Democrats removed a candidate from the ballot was Abraham Lincoln in 1860. That's it. It's really the only time I can even recall it being done.
They removed him from the ballot in southern states.
They removed him from the ballot. And here's the funny thing. What they're trying or want to do now is remove Trump from the ballot in blue states that he would otherwise have very little prayer and winning anyway. That's what happened to Lincoln, and he still won.
But
there are 4 candidates that time too.
That's right. The vote was split.
Similarities are sick, man. Really.
What if it's Cornel West,
parallels?
RFK, Biden, Trump, giving Trump 38%, but enough to win.
Yeah.
And then they take his name off the ballot
Removed
in blue
off
states.
6 states. Right.
This is crazy.
Because there could be, and that's why you saw it in Colorado, in a situation like 16, when we had disaffected voters going to, Gary Johnson, Jill Stein. Colorado got close there, Tim. Got way closer than it should have been. So did New Mexico.
What people need to understand is that Strauss-Howe generational theory is not this profound discovery. It's just the writer's cycle for Earth. Simulation, seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Season 1, the American Revolution. Season 2, the Civil War. Season 3, World War. World at War. Woo! They had to spice things up. It wasn't just enough for America to be fighting. And so now we're going for, how about...
Interdimensional.
No, Civil War and World War III
Space
at the
aliens.
same time. And then aliens come. All at the same time.
Every time something crazy new happens, that is like we passed this Rubicon. We crossed this line. It does seem to be aliens. Something comes after that.
Yeah,
I think they're trying it, but the water's too hot. They keep pulling their toe out. It's just people don't buy it. But it used to be, and you were kind of, maybe you were alluding to this, but I was thinking about it while you were talking, that you'd get the presidential vote, whether you hated the guy or liked the guy, you'd vote. It didn't really matter. Like, yeah, your commander's the commander, but Congress runs the show. It doesn't really matter. And so, like, let's all enjoy life as Americans. That's what we get to do together.
I'm sure you know about voter turnout in the early days of this country, right? What the voter turnout percentages were?
I mean, I don't have them off the top of my head.
Like
they were
10%.
Yeah, they were abysmal until Jacksonian democracy, which started to ramp it up.
And then which reached around like 20 some odd percent.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because then when women's suffrage happened, it basically doubled. So women started voting.
What did Jackson do that enticed voters?
One man, one vote. You have no representation. And then there's actually a lot of parallels to Trump as well. And Trump loves Jackson. He won too early, like Trump, which I think you could argue. Trump came in, and I remember in 16 saying to people, the election of one man, a revolution, does not make here. There are still a bunch of cheese Republicans in the Senate, in the House. This is not going to go how a lot of people think it's going to go. That happened in Jackson. And the establishment status quo came at him, and he had to regroup. And this is something Donald Trump still hasn't. At least not yet. I have not seen him learn. He should just run with his own slate of candidates. Look at what is going on right now with this debt fight, with the CR, the continuing resolution. He wants them to defund political lawfare. That's just not going to happen with the current bunch of cowards. I mean, that are in Congress. It's not going to happen. We know who these people are. We know the talent that's in these same districts. Go after them. Trump should be running the America First ticket, not the Republican ticket. Right. He should be running the America First ticket. And if you're for me, in Texas 12, you vote for John O'Shea. If you're for me, you vote for Matt Gaetz in Florida 1. If you're for me, that benefited a lot of bad people in 2016. Trump always gave more than he got from the traditional GOP coalition, and he drug a bunch of losers over the finish line who would then stick a knife right in his back. So this is something he's got. I know he's, the guy's busy with lawfare. He's trying to run for president. You're going to repeat 2016 and 17 all over again if you don't do this.
So like where Lindsey Graham, he said, everybody vote for Lindsey Graham, and then they did, and he won. And then
big mistake.
Okay.
Yes.
So he should, you're saying he should specifically, like, should he denounce certain people that he has?
No, because you don't want to make enemies yet. Like, there's nothing you can do about Lindsey Graham, and plus you want to win South Carolina. You don't want to lose. There's upcountry, super conservative South Carolina, and then there's Horry County, and other places around Charleston. You don't want to lose that. So you don't pick fights with people you can't remove, but they're their allies. And congressmen are up every 2 years. We know who the senators are. And one I just mentioned, Texas 12, this is a woman who is the Appropriations Committee. So this is relevant to right now. I think Matt Gaetz was just on your show
a couple days
making a deal about this. Kay Granger made a deal with Trump. She had Chris Putnam on her butt, and Putnam was in the lead. And she said, I need the president's help. For his endorsement, he said, I need your help on impeachment. He gave her the endorsement. She defeated Chris Putnam. When he needed her support in the impeachment hearing and the vote, she went home, pretended she was sick, and refused to vote by proxy. I mean, this is the kind of spineless, and it's not even spineless. In that case, it's just backstabbing. It's treachery, and you're not going to affect meaningful change with that kind of treachery. If I told people that there are maybe 3 to 5 tops, and I think I'm being generous at 5, solid Republicans in the U.S. Senate, out of all of them, I wonder how many would be surprised. Matt Gaetz had to fight tooth and nail to defeat that spending bill for Ukraine. Finally, that was a big turning point. 119 Republicans voted against it. I think 100 and something voted for it, but against had more than not. That's a big deal because that doesn't happen. The House Republican Conference is probably 85 to 90% coward. I may even be being generous with that. They're not really what they claim to be. Yeah. John Duarte out in California 13 ran on border security. I'm super Trumpy. And by the way, I need migrant workers, so I want to keep the border open. He voted against the trans bill the other day. I mean, these people say one thing, completely do another when they get in there, and this is a uniquely Republican problem. You will not see this on the Democratic side. When was the last time, Tim, you saw a Democrat promise something, right? That's a liberal, I don't want to say liberal orthodoxy, and then get to Congress and stab their voters in the back.
AOC did it.
With what?
Famously with Israel.
Well,
right away.
Yeah, no,
and then they were all the progressives were like, whoa, she's taking the establishment deadline now, and
yeah, I mean, unlike that's peripheral compared to like trade or immigration is for Republicans, So seriously, I just
don't think their words are worth anything.
Yeah, they should be
Republicans. They're not
putting their actions
none of
in
them.
smart
I don't
contracts.
care if they're Democrats or Republicans. There's like 7 Republicans where I'm kind of like, maybe.
Like if they were like, I'll endorse you, but then you'll vote for me on that, and they need to put it in writing or they need to put it into a smart contract so it triggers automatically. They don't get to rescind their agreement. But would that be like, that's tit for tat?
There's never going to
Todd Zwicky, they had great research on this. Like the whole system relies on that kind of a trust. It is a status quo. I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. But when it's like complete betrayal, then the whole thing's just...
There's no benefit for them to sign something like a smart contract that automatically executes because the possibility of changing is what gives them leverage to leverage one side against the other.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.